In this video, we're going to explore the 1934 cancer study. And this is a photograph of what most researchers believe is the machine used in that study. And what is so great and wonderful about this photograph is that the machine is all hooked up, so we can follow the connections. This here is a video, a YouTube video of the photograph, and it's placed on pause. And what we can see in the video is, like over here, that's a Tesla coil, and the high voltage wires that are connected to the Tesla coil, they go off up into the ceiling, and then they land on the plasma tube. They're connected at each end. This is a Pifford tube, which makes it a dual chamber plasma tube, and it's been theorized that you can mix a heterodyne with two different RF signals, being that it's a dual chamber tube. Now, if that was true, this here connection sticking up out of the right-hand side tube, that would have to be connected if that were true. It's not showing as being connected in this picture. What is showing as being connected is the two end electrodes, and there's two wires connecting to each. I believe one set of wires is a signal wire, and the other two wires connect back to the Tesla coil. I don't think they ran the Tesla coil during a therapy session. I think the Tesla coil was just used to light the tube and get it all charged up so that it'll run a lot more efficiently. But then I believe the Tesla coil was turned off, and the signal coming from the rest of the machine was injected into the plasma tube. So anyhow, what we're interested in with this video is where can we find that heterodyne signal if it's not being mixed in the Pifford tube. If we look at the original oscillators, we'll call this the front end. This is the RF oscillator section over here. We have two regenerative receivers, and if you turn the regeneration knob all the way up, the receiver just goes into oscillation, and it oscillates at the frequency that the receiver is set at. So these being AM radio receivers, if you turn the regenerative knob all the way up, you can use them as oscillators. And what's interesting about this is they are using two receivers, not just one. And if you look at the wiring coming up off the left, you can see that this bottom receiver is wired to the top receiver. And then both of these receivers, as they're wired together, they go into a third receiver that is sitting up top of these two receivers. These two are Kennedy receivers. This is a Kennedy Type 110. This is a Kennedy Type 281. This receiver up at the top is unidentified, but we can take a very educated guess on what that's all about. If you want to look at this video yourself, the address is in the email. You can call up the video. What you can do with it is call it up on your iPhone, and it runs for about 4 seconds. It's just a video of a photograph. Pause the video inside of that 4 seconds, and then just touch the screen anywhere, and all the graphics that are on the video pause, they'll all disappear, and you'll end up with just the picture here. And then turn your phone sideways so the picture expands out, and you get a full picture on the length of your phone. And then take your your index finger and your thumb, and you can spread the screen out, and move it over to the left, and you can focus in on this side of the oscillators, and then you can see very clearly how they're hooked up. This particular picture that I'm using on this video, it doesn't show them exactly clearly. If you do it on your iPhone, you get a much better, clearer indicator of how the receivers are hooked up. Now I did draw a diagram of how this hookup goes, so we can understand what's going on here. You can even pause this video right here and notice that on the bottom we have a Kennedy 110, and on the left side of this Kennedy 110, this is the antenna input. If you were listening to AM radio, you would connect your Kennedy to an audio amp and then run a speaker off of the output of the audio amp, and then you'd put your antenna on this here left side. But whenever you turn the regeneration control up and the whole set just goes into oscillation, it actually broadcasts that oscillation back out the antenna. And so in this configuration, we see that Rife hooked up his oscillators on the antenna leads. So he's got the antenna leads from the Kennedy Type 1 connected to the antenna leads on the Kennedy receiver Type 281 that's sitting on top of it. And then he takes this connection between receivers and he connects it to a third receiver which is sitting on top of both Kennedys. This third receiver is not identified. It's believed that this is a homebrew receiver, and it's a Nutridyne style, and it's there to amplify the AM signal that is created by these two Kennedys. So what you have is oscillator 1, oscillator 2. They combine to create a heterodyne beat wave signal. This heterodyne beat wave signal is sent through a receiver that's a Nutridyne receiver in order to amplify it. Now, coming out of this receiver, you should have what looks like a very clean beat wave. The carrier part of the beat wave, which would be the average frequency, that would be 3.404 megahertz, and the beat rate would occur at 196 kilohertz. This is all theorized. I'm guessing at how this thing is working. You don't really know unless you hook it up yourself and do some oscilloscope tests and see what kind of signaling you're actually getting for real. And if we remove the board here, we actually have a Kennedy 110 receiver on the workbench. Currently, I'm trying to source the Kennedy 281 receiver, and then I'll be able to verify the theory that's put forth in this video. And if you look at the antenna connection here on the left, it's marked antenna and ground. And then this is the audio output on the right. It says telephones. They would hook up a set of earphones to that, or you can hook up the audio amplifier. If you'll notice, back in the picture, the lab picture, if we come back to that, you'll notice that there are two audio amps hooked up to both receivers. And I was wondering why that is. Like, why do you need the audio amps hooked up? We're just trying to get a radio signal. Well, it turns out these receivers won't work unless the audio amps are hooked up. The idea that the hookup between them that completes a circuit. And like this 110 receiver will not turn on. It won't give you any signal unless the audio amp is over here completing the circuit. And so we that pretty much answers that question. But that's it for this video.